I'm Jim Reis, Director of Business Development at Offit Kurman. Clients want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And I think a couple things that are very important to get to that point. One is to be yourself, be authentic, be sincere, which means following up on what you tell people you're going to do. Be responsive to emails and phone calls. Be available and be vulnerable. People want to see the human side of you, so it's okay to share personal stories and things that have touched your life. And it's okay to ask the folks that you're meeting with the same thing. My method is what I call the ABCs of networking. A stands for attract, so I try to attract interest in what I have to offer, which is helping people. B is to build relationships, and I build relationships by seeing the people over and over again and becoming familiar with them, and they become familiar with me. That's done through lots of events and one-on-one meetings and groups that I belong to. And then C is close, and you get to the close after a client, a business owner, gets to know you, like you, and trust you. And when they have a legal need, I'm hoping that they call me. As far as the do's and don'ts of networking, the most important thing about networking is firstly choosing the right events to go to. Secondly, preparing for those events. If you can get a registration ahead of time and see who's going to be there, that's great. Go into the event with proper expectations, and those expectations should be to walk away with 2 or 3 business cards, not a dozen. It's very important that when you are at a networking event, you ask a lot of questions and you listen more than you talk, and you become more interested than interesting. Because if you're interested in what the other person is saying. If you're more interesting, it means that you're talking more than they are, and that's not a good thing. So I go into it and have natural and organic conversations with people. I ask them about themselves, their family, their work, what they're working on, what keeps them busy, and it works very, very naturally. It flows naturally. And eventually, that person will ask me about myself, and then they've given me the opportunity to tell them about myself and my business. So my success has been with business owners who are underserved by their current attorney. That doesn't mean they have a bad attorney. That just means that they have an attorney who currently is underserving them because they don't have the capacity or the skills to provide the legal services that the business needs at this point in the life cycle of their business. So it's all about timing. And when I can be at the right place at the right time with a business owner having this conversation, and when they start asking me about Offit Kurman, and as I explain the advantages of doing business with Offit Kurman, that's when it usually hits them that they're currently underserved by their professional service providers, including their attorney, and now's a good time to start looking for other alternatives. My number one piece of advice for a startup business owner is not to be penny wise and dollar foolish. I have this conversation pretty much every day with startup business owners and with people who support startup business owners as consultants or advisors. And time again, we learn that startup business owners are typically not well funded and are not willing to pay fees that are required for a full service law firm or for full service CPA firm, and they try to do it in an inexpensive way, and that can come back, it usually does come back to bite them in the tail a couple years later when they see that their operating agreement or their partnership agreement or their other corporate documents are really not in order because they were done on the cheap by an attorney who really doesn't have the skills to do what they were asked to do, typically a family friend or a neighbor. So my advice is be proactive, hire a full service law firm and a full service CPA firm at the beginning, and you will eliminate problems at the end.